Hey guys, with all the new updates for the SMT indicator, I wanted to make a video and just kind of do an entire tutorial from, when you get the indicator, how to put it on your chart, all the different scripts I have, how to use them, all that stuff. So I'm going to start from the very beginning. So once you purchase the indicator, it's pretty cheap. It's just $19.99 a month. It comes with a total of 16 scripts. So you're going to get the main SMT indicator. You're going to get an SMT indicator variant with the Fibonacci retracement levels, which you can use as support and resistance. There's an SMT indicator that has 13 and 48 EMAs. It's very popular to use for the 2-minute chart. It's also going to come with a legacy SMT indicator, so that's the first one that was ever created before we made any modifications. So if you're a very simple user, you don't want anything extra, you just want buy and sell signals and alerts, you can use that one. And then we have a ton of key level scripts for some of the most popular traded indices and securities. So once you get that, you're going to get all those 16 scripts. You're also going to get an 87-page book that I wrote myself, got it published and copyrighted, all that good stuff, and it kind of combines like hundreds of hours of trading experience into an easy to understand book. So once you have all that, once you get that purchased, you're going to get an email with a confirmation, and then it's going to tell you that you've been added to all the scripts. So you're going to see like a notification here on the right hand side. It's going to say that you've been added to the scripts, and once that happens, you can go to your indicators on the top left hand corner here. You click on that, and then under invite only script, you're going to see all of those scripts. So what you want to do is you can favorite them, so then they're going to appear in your favorites, or you can just keep them there. They're always going to stay in your invite only. So right now what I have pulled up is the S&P 500 SPY, and I'm on the 2-minute chart. So the 2-minute chart and the 5-minute chart are what I love to trade. My favorite is definitely the 5-minute, but occasionally if we are getting a little bit less movement, like here, if we're getting a little bit more back and forth rather than a big trend, I will use the 2-minute to try and catch those movements. So this is the 5-minute chart. So now what I do is I'm going to go here and then go to invite only scripts, and I'm actually going to add the SMT indicator with Fibonacci retracement levels. So I'm going to click on that. Now these Fibonacci levels are specific to SPY, so if you use any other indicator, or I'm sorry, if you use the indicator on any other chart, then you want to use just the regular SMT. So I just wanted to show you that. It gives you some support and resistance levels, which are these yellow and orange fibs. So I guess yellow and red. These red ones are all the retracement levels that are not the 50 and the 61.8. So the 50 and 61.8 are typically considered golden Fibonacci levels as they hold the most weight. So I've marked those in gold to kind of help you view that. So for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to add the regular SMT indicator and then explain all of the different features. So now that we have that added, let's go ahead and look at what we get here. So first I'm going to explain these signals. So these arrows, the first one right here is a green arrow pointing up, so that is essentially a bullish signal, and it occurs when 3 different criteria are met simultaneously. So these 3 criteria are some of my pieces of conviction. I never enter a trade unless I have at least 3 pieces of conviction, and this guarantees that we have that there. So that doesn't mean that you can't have 3 pieces otherwhere and other place on the chart and you still would have a good setup, but they might not necessarily be the 3 that trigger this alert. But when you see that, you have 3 pieces of conviction, and so it is an A setup in my book. And what I've done is I've configured it so that if you have an A setup occurring on any different time frame, they will still show up on this time frame. So this is really cool. A lot of people will have several different charts open. You got a 2-minute here, a 5-minute here, a 15-minute here, whatever, because you want to observe price action on different time frames. But if you just want to have one chart open and view those setups that occur on different time frames exactly where they would occur, but on this time frame, or whatever time frame you choose, that is what this allows you to do. So you see I'm trading the 5-minute chart, but I know here I'm getting a 10-minute buy, right? So I'm being told on my 5-minute chart that there's a 10-minute buy signal. And if I switch to my 10-minute chart, what do we know? There it is. There's that 10-minute buy signal. So that lets you know when a higher time frame or lower time frame has a signal, and this occurred twice. So first we got this 10-minute, you can see we continued up, and then 15-minute, and then we rode all the way up and consolidated a while, and then we got this sell signal towards the end of the day, but it was basically the end of the day, so nothing occurred from there. So that is that. So those are buy and sell signals. Now at the top right hand corner, it's going to show you the most recent signal on every time frame. So if you are not, if you're only looking on one time frame, you don't have your signals up, or you just haven't seen any recent signals, you can look at the top right hand corner and you'll kind of just see color coded for ease The ones that are green are just buy signals, and the ones that are red are sell signals. So the way that I really like to use this is if I'm looking at a short position and I get a sell signal, and then I look over here and all of these are red, or the majority of these are red, then I know the momentum is to the downside and the inverse is for green signals. Now, what else do we have here? Well, first let me discuss what we can, if we want to turn off these signals, right? So right now I am on the 5-minute time frame, so if I go and hit the settings bar and we go into inputs, first I want to explain this table here is customizable. So I am on the 5-minute time frame. So let's say I only want to see signals from higher time frames, which I do recommend. Signals from the higher time frames will be 100% accurate, but because of time discontinuity and the way that TradingView uses its functions, viewing lower time frames results in some weird stuff going on, and they're not necessarily accurate. So what I always recommend is always view signals on higher time frames, right? If we're on the 5, we view the 10, the 15 and above. If we're on the 15, we view the 15, the 30 and above, etc. So I'm on the 5, so I'm just going to turn off the 3 and the 2 here. So now I have everything that is greater than that enabled. And then I'm going to, you can see at the top right hand corner, those have already disappeared. Our table has shrunk, and we're only displaying the signals that we care about. Now, if we want to disable the actual alerts here, like these arrows, we do the same thing. Unselect 3 and 2 minute for buy, and then 3 and 2 minute for sell. And now those will go away, and we hit OK, and now we will not see any 3 or 2. You're only seeing the 5 and higher than that. When this is really good. Look at this: 15-minute sell, big move down, 30-minute sell, continuation. We pull back up, and then we have a 5-minute sell, more move to the downside. Same here, nice buy signal, continue the 200 EMA here, and then of course the ones that we discussed today. So what else does this do? So besides these signals, we have some levels that plot automatically. So I'm going to enable the replay function so you can see this. So here we are on our SPY chart. I'm going to move this back a little bit here. Right. So what do we see here? We see that we are getting some automatic plotting of some key levels. So this purple level is the daily low that will automatically plot and adjust dynamically. So if we get a lower low on the day, this purple line will move down. And on the same upper end here, we have the daily high. So I think the daily high is stuck from later in the day. There we go. So it adjusts now. So you can see as price moves, this daily high will adjust with price. And then the same with that. And what else we have? We have yesterday high of day. So you can see here that high of day is marked in orange. Pre-market high, which we have marked right here. And then pre-market low, which we also have marked right here. And then yesterday's low. So these are key levels, and they're all distinguished by different colors. So that helps you when you trade. So that's really cool. Excuse me. Now, just for an example, how we can use this. Do you see yesterday's low? We could not close below yesterday's low here. So you can see we wicked through yesterday's low multiple times. We could not close, and then we got a bullish reversal. That could have been your sign to go long, and that was using the key level that was plotted there. If you want to disable those, again, you go to your settings bar, and if you go to style, you can see that we have down here, you'll see your daily high, daily low, and all of those. So you can uncheck those, and you'll see that they will disappear. And if you disable those and you don't like these labels here, you can also uncheck labels, and then those will go away as well. And while we're here, if you don't like this table, just uncheck that, and the table will go away. So you can enable and disable everything, which is really cool. A lot of customizability on this thing, this indicator algorithm, whatever you want to call it. So that is cool as well. And then I want to discuss a few other things, right? So this automatically plots some EMAs. So we get the gray EMA, which is the 5 EMA. You can see how price kind of rode that here. We have the white line, which is the 9 EMA. We have the blue line, which is the 21 EMA. The orange line, which is the 200 EMA, and then the purple line, which is 200 EMA, and the orange line, which is VWAP. Now you can change the color of all of these. You can also disable all of them. You can just, if you like to just trade price action, you can disable all of them, and now you're just trading price action. And then you can also just change the line design, which I don't know, whatever you want to do. I don't really change that at all. So that's cool. I usually have all these enabled. One you may want to turn off. A lot of people don't use the 5 EMA, right? But you can see on days where we have a really strong trend, we're not necessarily riding the 9 EMA here. We're actually riding the 5 EMA. So you see how we're riding that orange line, or I'm sorry, the gray line. So it's pretty cool. Let's see what else I'm missing here. So we also have automatic support and resistance. So as the chart moves, as price moves, you will see it'll dynamically plot support and resistance. So you see here how we have 4 different, or I guess we touched this level 5 times, and then we close below it, so now that's resistance. And then we move down, and then it should draw us a support once we move up. See that? So we move up here, and now you can see this is a support level. Pretty clear to see why this is a support level. We wicked off of it twice here and held, and then we actually wicked off of it 1, 2, 3 times here, and it was a resistance that flipped support. So that's cool. Again, everything is enableable, if that's a word, and disabled. So if you get in the settings again and you want to turn off the dynamic support and resistance, you just uncheck that, and it'll actually get rid of the line. And then if you take off labels, you'll get rid of those labels as well. So that's also something you can turn on and off. A few more features I want to discuss. So by default, it won't have any kind of filtering on the signals. So it's just going to show you all the signals that occur. Now, a lot of times, this is more clear on the 2-minute chart. Let's go down to the 2-minute chart. We have a day where we have a lot of consolidation and a lot of fake outs. So of course, algorithms are purely based on data. So if we go to a day where we had a lot of consolidation, so I think, oh, sorry, I have the lower time frames enabled, I forgot, or disabled, so let's turn those back on. So let's find a day where we had a lot of consolidation, because I know we had one very recently. Here, look at all this. Okay, so we have great volatility in the morning, 2 perfect buy signals, nice rally, 2 perfect sell signals, nice dump. But now we kind of consolidate in a range where we have really close compressed EMAs, and we're just moving back and forth with little volume and little movement. So when we have something like that, what we want to do is we don't want to keep getting faked out with these signals. So I have something enabled called a chop filter. So by default it's turned off, right? Because you might want to see all the signals, and then if you notice some price action like this, you can turn on what's called the chop filter. So the chop filter, what it does is it uses Bollinger Bands and Keltner multiplier, which is kind of the standard deviation used on the Keltner channel. It's a bunch of, basically it's just think of Bollinger Bands that we have price kind of within this range, and when it's in that range, we're in a channel, and then when we have volatility and we kind of expand past that, then we are essentially finding a trend, and then we will be outside of those bands, and we can, get signals. So if you want these to be more filtered because you see chop and you don't want to get faked out, just uncheck this disable chop filter, and then you will see it's going to load. You can see this loading icon, and there you go. So now the filter is enabled. The only thing is, of course, like these signals here are gone because that filter, what it does is it makes sure that we have a trend before it gives you a signal. So it's nice because we were able to catch this nice uptrend with 3 signals, which is great, and we got this nice sell-off, this little intermediate sell-off here, but at the same time we missed some of the signals there. And you can adjust this filter to be more, I guess, more relaxed or more strict, depending on what you want. So if we adjust the BB multiplier 1 here, let's say we decrease it to like 1, right? Then we just let it load here, and then let's see what happens. So we get those signals back. So that means we've relaxed it a bit. Now if we want to increase it, let's say something crazy like 3, we want basically to omit everything except extremely strong trends. Most likely all of these will disappear, but let's see what happens. Yeah. And so you can kind of mess with it. Let's lower it to like 2.2. We should get some signals back. And so you can kind of mess with it like that. Yep, we just got these back. But the default I put here is 2, 1, and 1.5. And typically I will only have this chop filter on when we have a price movement like this. So normally it's just disabled. So let's go ahead and disable it. And we'll get back to the default settings here. And let's go back to today's price action. So there are a few more features I want to discuss. I know this video is getting a little bit lengthy. So what's cool about the SMT indicator is you can configure alerts for every single one of these signals, and not only will that alert go off on your desktop with a loud beeping noise, you'll also get a mobile push notification, and you can even configure email notifications. So how do you do this? So let's see right here, we have we're on the 2-minute time frame, and if you're on the 2-minute time frame, almost everything is a higher time frame. So I want all those signals, right? I want my 2-minute, 3-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, 65, whatever. You want all of those. So the way that we configure alerts, and this is really important so you can get your alerts working properly, you click this button right here, this alarm clock icon. You hit create alert. You can't do it in replay mode, so let's turn that off. And there's actually two more features I forgot to talk about. We'll get to those. So we hit this alert button, create alert, and then you can see condition here. We select the SMT indicator. Now you can see you have buy and sell conditions for every single time frame, and this is really important because the way that this is coded is if you want to set an alert, you need to go to that time frame. You don't have to stay on that time frame, but when you set the alert, you need to be on that time frame. So if I want to set an alert for the 2 minute, I can do that here. I just go to 2 minute buy signal, once per bar, open-ended if you have premium. Otherwise, just set it like a month in advance or a month out. And then you can decide what the alert name is. You can do like 2 minute SPY long, and then you can change the message, whatever. And then if you go to your notification settings, you have notify on app, notify show pop-up, and then you can play sound, and then you even have send email, which I don't really care about. I don't use that. Now, if I want to set alerts for the 5 minute chart, I need to go to the 5 minute chart and then set my alert. So now I switch to 5 minute, right? And then I can go in here and then set the alert for 5 minutes. Okay. Now the reason is we want the time frame on the bottom here to actually be the same time frame for the alert. So if we have a 3 minute alert set, we need to do it on the 3 minute time frame. 15 minute alert, we need to do it on the 15 minute time frame, but then we don't need to stay on that time frame. You can do whatever time frame you want. It's just for those alerts. Okay. So now that you know how to set alerts, those are going to stay active, and they should, when they trigger, they'll just pause, and then you can hit play again, and then they will re-enable, and it'll tell you the last time it triggered. So you see I have 2 3 minute and 5 and 15 minute triggers that went off today, which is cool. And there should be a couple more features here. We're about 16 minutes in, so if I go to my indicators, if I go to my settings wheel right here, and we can, let's see what else we have here. Yes, trading hours. So you can see that I have my trading hours set to 9:30 to 16, right? I'm going off Eastern time, so that's 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. So that's only the market hours. Let's say that I want signals 24/7, market hours, outside market hours, whatever. I can just set this 24 hours here, so 9:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. That's the entire day. Hit OK, and now watch what happens here. Now I have signals in extended hours. There it is. You can see all my signals. And then once again, if I go and I turn that off, let's say I want to do just, I only like an afternoon trader, right? So if I do 12 o'clock to 16 o'clock, right, that's just noon to 4, you're going to see all these go away. Just give it a second to load. And I'm only getting afternoon signals. So if I'm an afternoon trader, I can use that. I'm only trading in the afternoon. And then all other signals, morning signals and otherwise, will be disabled. So this is really cool. And it's the same thing for alerts. You won't get alerts for time frames, for alerts that are outside of your time frame. So I'm going to set that back to my default, which is 9 o'clock. And what am I? 9:30, sorry. 9:30 to 16 and hit OK. And that should be the last feature. I think I went over everything. Let's see here. That should be, you don't need to mess with the VWAP settings. And that's all good. So I'm about 18 minutes in. So what I can do now is I can show you some of the other scripts that I like to use with the SMT indicator. So if I'm trading SPY, I'll use the one with Fibonacci levels. But let's go to a different chart just so we can play something different. Let's go to Meta. That one has been really popular. So here we are in Meta. We have our SMT indicator and some really good signals here today. 15-minute buy. Completely went crazy. If we go on the 2 minute, I think we had some really good signals on the 2 minute here as well. Look at that 2 minute buy that essentially caught this massive rally when it first started. And if you held, you would have gotten the second confluence here to tell you even the 15-minute chart is bullish. And then you can keep holding and then riding this 21 EMA or whatever you want to do. And we even caught these little mini dumps towards the end of the day. So now that you're using Meta, what else can we grab here? So I have a ton of other scripts. I have these key level scripts that are for a ton of different tickers that people use. So this is Meta. We can just click on this Meta key levels and it'll throw that on your chart. I think I need to update this one to encompass the, I think there was 54 key levels, but you can see they're all below current price action because Meta did rally. So this is not the best example. So let's switch to QQQ. This will be a good one. So now we're on Qs. And I can go back and let's turn this meta key levels off, and then let's add the QQQ key levels. There we go. Turn that on. There we go. That's nice. So now you can see that we have these key levels, and let's go to a higher time frame so it's a little more obvious. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame. And then you can see how these levels are being respected, and if you want to trade them, you can see here. So you can use these as nice entries and exits. You can see that we have some pivot points in there, and then I really like to use these on SPY. They're very good on SPY as well, and since that's what I typically trade, let's go back to SPY, and then I will show you how those look on SPY as well. So we go to our indicators, we go to SPY key levels, if I can find it. There it is. There we go. And there are SPY key levels. I like to use these a lot when I trade. You can see that they're nice supports and resistance, and those help me with confluence in my trades. So there you go. That is everything. If we are got a little bit more time, I will show you one last indicator that I have. That is the unusual volume alert, and then I can tell you how I use that to get some nice gains on Boeing today. So I have another indicator. If we go here, we go to unusual volume alert, and then what we can do is if we can also set alerts for this just like we did before for the SMT indicator, but you can choose what hours you want the volume alert, and then you can have a multiplier threshold. So basically what it'll do is if you ever have the subsequent candle having 2x or 3x or 5x the volume of the previous candle, you'll get an alert. So let's set it to 5, and I'll show you how I use it on Boeing. So I have Boeing to typically send me an unusual volume alert, and you can see here that little green icon is showing that we had a ton of volume, 5x the previous, at least 5x previous candle. So look at that huge jump. And so I did not catch it immediately, but I did see that we had a pullback here, and I actually entered calls right there, sold them right here at this resistance for about like 40%-ish, and then they actually ended up going like 100%. But yeah, so that is another feature. Hopefully this explained a lot of things that people were curious about. And if you have any questions, again, you can just DM me on Twitter or @ me on Twitter, whatever you need to do, and I'm more than happy to help. So thanks, guys.